Making do is all about understanding that you don't need the latest and greatest to feel like life is the greatest. Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin and I run the blog called Mrs. Midwest. If this is your first time visiting, I just want to say thank you for clicking on my face and seeing what this is all about. And to all my returning subscribers and viewers, I am giving you a hug. Thank you for continuing to support me. This community is growing so quickly and so large that it's truly just given me so much hope and excitement that there are so many feminine women out there, so many traditional women, and people interested in those topics. So the topic of today's video is all about frugality, budgeting, and finances. So I do think there is a problem in the West right now. There is this overconsumption, overspending, taking on debt, taking on car loans, taking on student loans. I know people who have a loan on their sofa. I kid you not. There are loans and payment plans and credit cards for everything. Our culture is at a fever pitch of consumerism and overconsumption. Everybody is trying to get you to buy something. The people you follow on Instagram, the people you follow on YouTube, the stores, the billboards, the online shopping. Facebook is using your browsing history to give you advertisements to further get you to buy stuff. We have never been more inundated with the push to consume and the push to buy. But the problem with this is that most of us can't afford it. Many of us take on those loans, we take on that overspending, and we often don't know how to approach money because no one ever taught us. And I just want to say, I'm not really here to teach you anything. I'm just here to share with you my experience and my perspective. So just know I am no expert, but I do want to share with you guys how we make it work on one income, how I as a homemaker approach budgeting, and really my personal experience with budgeting and the positives it has brought me. My first tip for approaching finances is budgeting. You know, what are we making per month? What's our mortgage? What's our utilities? And what's left over after that? How much do we want to save? You know, what do we want to save for? And we just really mapped everything out. And that's the thing about finances. It is math. It is practical numbers that you can actually make a strategy with. It's very easy to map into the future, and although it's scary because a lot of people just kind of don't want to know, they don't want to know what they're spending their money on, they don't want to know how much they're losing a month. Begin to get comfortable with knowing exactly how much you're spending, how much are your student loans, how much is everything, because that actually puts you in control of your finances. And that is something I had to learn. I thought that getting a budget would make me feel like I could never spend money on fun things, but instead it let me dole out money to certain priorities in our life, and you can actually plan for the future and even save more. We've been able to save thousands of dollars a month just by budgeting and saying how much do we want to save and how low can we get that grocery bill, and it really helped us and improved our life. So I would definitely recommend budgeting. My second tip for approaching finances is temporary spending freeze. Okay, so I don't believe we need to stop spending money on non-essential items forever, but it's very helpful to stop spending money on non-essential items for a short period of time so you can realize that you can survive and thrive without those little tidbits that you've been purchasing for yourself. So figure out for you what a non-essential item is, write them all down, and cut it out for a week or 2 weeks and see how much more money you're saving. As a homemaker, when you're not bringing in money, your biggest job is saving money. And the best way to save money is to not spend it in the first place. Change your perspective by cutting out those non-essential items, refocusing on what you actually need, what you want to save, what debt needs to get paid off, and then make a strategy. And don't say, oh, I can never have a Starbucks ever again. You know, just make it less often. You know, there's ways to enjoy those little luxuries without making them a daily routine. My third tip for the area of finances is to learn to make do. There's this idea of the lost art of making do, and it's all about using the resources you currently have instead of buying new things. And an example of this is, I've talked about it in Beauty on a Budget, it's shopping your closet for a special event, not purchasing brand new items. The mindset behind making do is about being content, but also being creative. And that's what I love about making do. It's about using what you currently have and really being intellectual and creative with how you can repurpose it into something else, or how you can use items in different ways. If there's really no quality difference in generic or name brand, I will always purchase generic because it's just cheaper, and we're making do. I don't need the fanciest Greek yogurt. I can get by on Walmart brand. Making do is all about understanding that you don't need the latest and greatest to feel like life is the greatest. One way that I go about making do is by putting off purchases for a period of time. Is it a month later and I'm still wishing I had this thing? Okay, then I'll purchase it. But if I've forgotten about it, or I don't really think I need it anymore, then I've made do, and it's wonderful. All right, my fourth tip for finances is learn to do without. This is similar to my suggestion of cutting out non-essential items, but it is cutting them out permanently. Doing without is all about what do you actually need to survive. And I think this is a very minimalist perspective, but it's also something that we have lost in our modern world. I know we all say that the cost of living has dramatically increased, and I agree. But what I will also say is that people in the 1940s and 50s didn't have wardrobes the size of our wardrobes. They didn't have iPhones. They didn't have even PC laptops. And they didn't have apps or Netflix subscriptions. They didn't even have to pay for Wi-Fi, And so yes, the cost of living has increased because many of us need Wi-Fi for our jobs. We want to look modern. But the thing is, there is so much of that we can do without. For us, that has really meant streaming services. We can do without ever knowing what happened on Game of Thrones. I'm not paying for HBO. No. We can do without paying for Netflix. There's things in life where, if you do without, you're going to feel sad and like life is hard and difficult. So for those things, absolutely purchase what you need to continue feeling like you're thriving in life and blossoming, but also recognize that there is so much in our modern world that we don't actually need. Reflect back on your non-essential items list and also see what can you do without. What would actually improve your life to get rid of? I think there's actually a lot less we need in life to be happy, and some of our lives we can increase our happiness by removing those distractions and removing that stress. So learn to do without. All right, my fifth tip in the area of finances is learn to do mental math. I know this isn't the first go-to for a lot of women. A lot of women are much more communication, language oriented, but it is a skill that even I have learned to do. And it's very simple. Example of that is if you purchase specialty coffees 3 times a week, maybe you're spending $10 a week. There's 52 weeks in a year, so we multiply 10 by 52. You're spending $520 on specialty coffee a year. Now, it's not wrong to enjoy those luxuries in life, but it's important to when you hear those larger numbers to say, oh, I don't want to spend $520, but I'm comfortable spending $250 on coffee a year. So maybe you purchase 2 coffees one week and 1 coffee the next week. You've already sliced that in half. $250 a month on groceries, I can multiply that by 10. We're spending $2,500 on groceries in 10 months. And that's how I approach my purchases. It's all about that quick mental math that really puts things into perspective, because honestly, $1 or $2 doesn't sound like a big deal at all. Oh, I'll spend $1 a week on that app subscription, like whatever. That's $52 a year. That's a lot of money. If you purchase 20 grocery items that are non-generic, they're name brand, and it's not a big deal, they're only marked up by about $1. $20 a week extra on non-generic brands, on name brand things, will result in over $1,000 at the end of the year. Mental math. And if anything, it might just shock you into making more frugal decisions. All right, my 6th tip in the area of finances is learn to approach things from a perspective of frugality, not cheapness. Now, my grandparents immigrated from the Netherlands after World War II into a very Dutch community in Canada, and it was a running joke in the community that Dutch people were very cheap. I think that when you immigrate, you start with nothing, like my grandparents did. You know, they had to start from the bottom and work their way up, so they weren't cheap, they were just frugal. And I think that the idea of frugality is kind of not in fashion, but it's really all about making wise purchases, quality items, and if you have to save up for them, it's often worth it. Be frugal with those seemingly unimportant purchases, you know, an extra dollar here and there. Really guard your purse, guard your wallet, and be frugal. It's not about being a penny pincher. It's not about being ungenerous or cruel or too stingy with your money, but it's about being aware that those little dollars here and there add up. It's all about how can we save money while still enjoying life, still getting the quality we need. And no, you cannot always be extremely frugal with everything. There are some things in life that it is worth it to spend money on, and then other things that, you know, maybe it's not. It's about finding ways that I can save that money and really view our income as something to be protected and also given out generously as well. I think it's important to share your wealth with others and be generous and charitable while remaining wise and frugal. So focus on incorporating a frugal mindset into your life. Seventh tip is about returning to a line of luxury in your life. This concept is all about remembering that luxurious things are not for every day. If something is going to be a special occasion, it needs to remain special. I've seen this luxury increase even with bachelorette parties. Instead of just having a nice time out in the town on a Friday night for a bachelorette party, it's become to the point where people do that so much that now we have to go to Mexico to celebrate a bachelorette party. And while it's not wrong to celebrate those really enormously special times in life, it's important to recognize that many of us have lost track of luxury and special occasions. I think it's so life-giving to have those lines in your life where something is a special occasion and then there's things that are just more everyday. For example, we do not go out to dinner almost ever. So when we go out to dinner for my birthday or on a vacation or for an anniversary or when friends are in town, it feels incredibly special. And we are able to save for those occasions and really enjoy every moment of them when we're out. For extremely wealthy people, yeah, a special occasion might be getting on a private plane and going to an island. And Instagram makes it feel like that's the luxury for everybody. But really, for us middle-class people, people on a budget, we need to reframe and focus on what's luxury for my budget. That's what living within your means is. So I would encourage you to stop focusing on what luxury is for these fancy people on social media and focus on what's a luxury to you on your budget. Is it a specialty drink from Starbucks or buying a book on Amazon that you've really been looking forward to? Return to a state of the special occasion where those little things in life really are special. All right, my eighth tip, we have so many tips, is to reflect on the past. This might sound a little strange, but it's all about focusing on what was normal in the past. In the past, people kept things for many, many years. And I do understand the quality of items has gone down. Things are created to be more disposable, so we'll purchase more and then the companies get more money. It's very sad. But if we focus on purchasing quality items and maintaining them, where at the end of our life, we might look at our dining table and say, oh, we've had that since we were married. Focus on living lighter and with less consumption and less online purchases and less non-essential items as people in the past did. A lady in the 1940s didn't have to pay an Uber bill. She didn't have to pay for her lip fillers. And she wasn't buying specialty coffees. You know, yes, the cost of living has gone up, but The things we can spend money on and the amount of money we are spending has increased. So I would encourage you to begin reflecting on the past, reflecting on how people used to live, and use it to inspire you. That is one of the biggest things that has inspired me as we've journeyed towards saving money and purchasing less. I'm trying to live more old-fashioned, and many of you have told me that, yeah, you're a little bit old-fashioned, but I like it, and I appreciate that, because I do resonate with that old-fashioned way of living where we keep those items for a long time and we don't purchase new ones and we don't live fully modern. And to remember that people survived just fine in the past with much less, and so can we. My 9th tip is very short. It is just say no to debt unless you have a viable strategy. So many people willingly take on payments. As I said, I have a friend who is paying off their sofa. They are paying off their sofa over 36 months, and it's crazy. I don't understand that. But it's all about saying no to debt. Many of us, you can take out a mortgage or some loans and you can have a strategy around that, and that's perfectly fine. I don't see a problem with that. But debt with credit cards, overspending on credit cards, just focus on saying no to that debt, that non-essential debt, and your life will be lighter. And focus on making do. Say no to debt whenever you can. It will save you so much money in the long run. All right, my 10th and final tip. Again, this one's also very short, but it is redefine what normal is for you. This is similar to the line of luxury, special occasions, but it's all about reflecting on your life and how you're living currently and if it's sustainable. When we went from 2 incomes to 1, I had to redefine normal for our family. Those specialty coffees were no longer part of my life. Brand new clothing was also no longer part of my life, but it was fine because I was able to redefine what normal was for us and live life comfortably within those means. And that's what living within your means is all about. It's knowing through a budget what normal is, and then it's living strategically and purposefully with that mental math, with that budget, with everything that will aid you in that mindset. Return to that line of luxury, reflect on the past, understand what you can live without, and redefine that normal. So many people on Instagram and the internet have redefined normal for the modern world without our consent. They have shown that private islands, private jets, crazy expensive makeup, crazy expensive clothing is normal. And I just want to say no. We can spit that out of our mouth and recreate normal. Even on YouTube, recreate normal for you. Consume media that focuses on what's normal for you. I do not watch home renovation shows because a home renovation is not in my near future. And that is a way that I really reflect on what's normal for me. You don't need to be weird and cut out everything. We can still enjoy and reflect and be inspired. Fantasize and dream about, the beauties and wonders of expensive living. But if that's really causing you to be unhappy with your current state of living, cut it out, until you can get used to it. So my 10th and final tip is to redefine what is normal. All right, that's it for today, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. If you liked this video, I would appreciate a like. It helps grow our community. Or if you really enjoyed this, please click the subscribe button because that also grows our community. If you are interested in more of this content, please check out my written blog. And if you want to see what a little homemaker like me gets up to on a daily basis, please follow me on Instagram. I always post on my stories. In total, I hope you have a wonderfully beautiful and feminine day.